If going through 3+ years of witchcraft has taught me anything, it is that having a strong mindset is key. Because when they cannot conquer our mind, they most certainly cannot conquer our body nor our spirits. I triumph daily by having a warrior's mindset and not a victim's mindset. On the daily, I have to remind myself, who can come up against me? What can man do to me when I am God's servant? We have no real reason to believe that our enemies can defeat us, that witchcraft can conquer us, that dark forces have any power over us, because we are connected to God's power, which is both within us and with us, governing our lives. Whenever I got to feeling defeated and downtrodden and like I was a victim, then I knew that I needed to reconnect to my God power within myself and over my life. And this took time for me to learn. So don't think that if you don't feel this way now, that you cannot build yourself up to having this type of courage. I had to get my faith so strong in God that I became courageous through God. My courage is not necessarily my own. My courage comes from God, my ancestors, my angels, my spirit team. If you're feeling like you're lacking this courage on your own, you need to be connecting to God. You need to be connecting to your spirit team, connecting to your spiritual practices and your spiritual gifts. Because I also gained a lot of my courage once I started realizing, okay, I can make my own soaps, I can make my own oils, I can make my own spiritual baths, and that keeps myself protected on a daily basis. Because yes, I say my prayers, yes, I trust in God, but I also always have the spiritual oil on deck and I'm ready to anoint myself at any moment, okay? And that gives me a certain level of spiritual power and courage as well. How can I see myself as a victim when I know that I have the power of understanding herbs and I have the ability to work with herbs? We have the ability naturally to connect with the elements. We may need to go through a process of figuring out which element is our home element. You know, I have a lot of water in my birth chart. I have a lot of water spirits connected to me. I am a very water energy, so I work a lot with water. So just knowing what your spiritual power is will be able to very quickly take you out of a victim mindset, because once you connect to that particular element, you're going to be like, oh, I got some power over here. Because whoever is doing the witchcraft to you knows what their spiritual power is. So you got to know what your spiritual power is so you can tap in. I always think about in 8th grade, I remember this girl told my friend that she would beat her ASS. And my friend said, oh, we may fight, but you're not going to whoop my ass. Okay? And I literally took that phrase from 10+ years ago and I say it to myself regularly when I'm dealing with witchcraft attacks. And it be constant, okay? I literally say, okay, they can send the attacks my way, but these attacks not going to whoop my ass. We going to fight, but they not gonna whoop my ass. We have to find some sass, some fire, some courage, find your inner lion, find your inner roar. Otherwise, the attacks are going to land and they are gonna whoop your ass, just to be real. And the last thing to remember to triumph over your enemies, over witchcraft, over spiritual attacks, is that there is not a single earthly thing that you can lose that cannot be replaced by God. I was holding on so much to what I felt like I was losing. I mean, I was crying about my bed, my furniture. I'm sleeping on the couch. Oh my God. Like I was bent all out of shape over the material things that I was losing. I had to reorient myself and remember, baby, there is nothing on God's green earth that can be created by man that cannot be replaced. So as I am settling into my new space that is all mine and that God literally blessed me with in order to create, God literally said, it's time for you to expand. God sent the spirit of Oya my way. And if you don't know anything about Oya, she represents swift changes, tornado energy, wind. She's over lightning. I was seeing nines everywhere. Her number is 9. And I went into meditation And I was listening to the messages. I'm seeing all of this purple. I was seeing her hands over my life, and she was moving all of these things around. And I said, this is Oya. And it hit me. Actually, 1 week after I had the conversation with Oya, I went apartment hunting. And then 2 weeks after I had that conversation with her, I was moving into a new apartment. And so when I say when Oya energy comes into your life, honey, it's going to shake some things up very, very swiftly. So I'm in this new apartment. And yes, I have a new couch and I have a new bed and I have a new desk and I have a new space. And I realized how trivial it was to be wailing and crying and on the floor rolling around about some furniture. And I left Texas. I can remember I was driving from Texas from that situation to back to my hometown. I laughed. I did a sarcastic laugh. I said, I lost everything. What do I have now? And before I could even think about it, I said, my soul, our spirit is eternal. And so when the body fades away, when the furniture gets old, you got to sell everything you own and everything you have for dirt cheap, like I did, in order to move where God was taking me. What do we have? We have God. We have our spirit. We have a future in God. On this journey, please believe in and respect divine timing, divine wisdom, because we don't know better than God. We like to think that we know what's best for our lives. But what I have learned and what has put me in a position right now to be where I am right now in my new space was trusting that God and my ancestors knew better than me. When I first moved home, the first thing I wanted to do was move the out of my parents' house again. What y'all don't know is that I moved home in 2021 as well, because God and my ancestors told me to, but I moved my ass right out because I couldn't take it. And so I said, here I am again, and I'm not making the same mistake that I made before. I gotta trust that God got some plan for me. If God keeps putting me right back here, a place that I don't want to be so badly, there must be something here for me that I need. And so I sat my ass down, humbled myself, and allowed God to work in my life. What you are experiencing right now will not be the full extent of your story. You will have a life beyond this experience. There will come a day where this experience is so thoroughly behind you that your heart feels lighter. You feel like you can laugh a little bit more. You feel like you can breathe a little bit easier. That experience of putting this behind you will happen gradually, day by day and little by little, and it will happen at the pace that you are working towards, because it was active work for me. I had to make the soaps, I had to make the oils, I had to do the prayers, I had to do the fasting, I had to do the actual work to get myself out of the situation. I was hoping for overnight changes and for somebody to swoop in and save me, but no. I had spiritual assistants who would tell me, you need to do this, you need to get that, you need to get this herb, but I had to do it. So as we put in the work, we will be able to gradually elevate beyond limiting experiences and experiences meant to hold us back. The reason why I went through all of this was because I prayed to God for elevation, to break karmic cycles, to access my intergenerational wealth and inheritances, and God said, bet, that's what you want, that's what you shall receive. And I had to do the work. Patience, faith, and courage are key. I love you all so much, and I am so excited to produce more and better quality content now that God has literally gifted me the space to do so.